Stop trying to make sense of your desires. Stop trying to make sense of your manifestations. Stop trying to make everything make sense and be a realistic person. If you are somebody who is a realist and you have to be realistic about things, in my opinion, you're just realistically limiting yourself. Now that you're here, before we start the video, if you haven't done so already, I would love to invite you to come and join the free Discord community that I created, and also grab your free copy of the Manifest My Dream Life ebook. The link for both of those will be in the description below. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into the video. So in the free Discord community that I created, I do have a tab in there that says ideas or suggestions for me, where you can give me different ideas and suggestions on video topics and other things that you want to see inside of the community. And somebody wanted me to basically expand upon manifestation not being logical, because I have talked about it in previous videos. I believe that anything is possible because infinite versions of you exist, infinite realities exist. There's no limitations, right? The only limitations that exist are the ones that you place on yourself. And I truly, truly believe that. So I just want to expand on manifestation not being logical, because in my opinion, if you are trying to be logical when you're manifesting, then you are, in my opinion, just making things more difficult for yourself, because you are consciously trying to reason and find a why for why this can work for you, how this is going to be possible for you, or how you're going to make it happen. And honestly, the conscious mind is just limited. It's a limitation. Like, your conscious mind is pulling from previous experiences to decide on what's possible for you. Like, when it comes to logic, your conscious mind is literally just trying to control everything. And you are in control of your manifestations, but consciously stop trying to be in control of every single little thing. Stop trying to reason and be logical. Well, how is that going to be possible? Like money appearing in your bank account out of nowhere. How is that going to be possible if I'm not even working right now? Or how is that going to even happen? You're limiting yourself. When you hear people say you're blocking your blessings, you being logical is you blocking your blessings, because you're trying to put an A to Z on something that is not linear. Manifestation isn't linear, okay? Time isn't linear. Time is created by you. So that's why it's illogical. That's why it doesn't make sense, because you're not going from point A to B to C all the way to Z. You're going from A to M to G to whatever. Like, you're just bouncing around, okay? Because it's not a straight line. You may perceive life to be a straight line. You may believe that things are happening in a straight line. But until you step out of logic and you just decide you can experience anything you want, that's what it's going to be. Because you're not going from here to there. You can go from here to up here to this new reality, to this new reality, to this new reality. There's no linear. And I intend that that makes sense. I really intend that that makes sense. But just look at it this way. When you're manifesting, all right, remember, it's not linear. It's not in a straight line. So it doesn't matter what the circumstance is. It doesn't matter what has happened, because you are pulling from infinite realities. I've used this example before, like, let's say you go into Walmart, or even better yet, let's say you go into an Amazon warehouse. All right. You go into an Amazon warehouse and you want a specific product. That specific product is on a wall, in a bin, like it exists and it's available. It's right there ready for you. And there's plenty of it. There's an abundance of it. You can just go pick the exact thing you need and take it with you, right? Even if you go to Walmart, we'll use the Walmart example too. You go to Walmart and there you go to get a loaf of bread. There are 1,000 different types of bread. I don't know why, but there are 1,000 different types of bread, and there's an abundance of bread. So you just go and you pull the bread off the shelf. You're not going in a straight line. You're able to pick from whatever shelf you want to pick from. That is how your reality is. You're not going in a straight line. You are picking from any and every reality that exists right now. So no matter what it is that you want to experience, there is a reality that exists right now in that moment, and a version of you exists right now in that moment experiencing that exact thing. So Do I believe that you can wake up to a brand new car outside without paying for it and no recollection of going to a dealership to get it? Absolutely. Does the logic make sense of that? No. You can't logically explain that. That is your brain trying to find your conscious brain. Your brain is physical, your mind is metaphysical. But your physical brain, your conscious mind is trying to figure out how is that even possible. And if you're not like if you don't understand how multiple realities exist, then yeah, I might sound like a Looney Tune right now, but that is just you limiting yourself. That is your own limitation. Something that I was thinking about as far as like an example, let's say you fall and you scrape your knee, right? And now you have like a little scrape on your knee. Logic is you have to give it time to heal. You have to go from point A to B to C to get your knee healed. So you have to put Neosporin on it. You have to put a Band-Aid on it. You have to clean it and wash it and take care of it. That is logic, being logical, because you have to take care of this wound that happened. And over time, as the days go by, it will heal. And every day that the days go by, you believe that it's healing, or you know that it's healing. You've decided that it's healing, and that's what you experience. That is the most common thing, right? But I also believe that can you have a scrape on your knee and decide it's healed overnight? Absolutely. Because remember, time is not linear. You are pulling from an infinite pool of realities. You are deciding from an infinite pool of realities. So whereas the first example, you're allowing it to heal over time, that's the reality that you're pulling from. You're pulling from the reality where you have to experience the process of it healing, versus you pulling from the reality of it's healed overnight. I don't have to go through a process. I don't have to wait for anything. My knee is healed overnight. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and my knee is completely healed and the scar is gone. There's no wound. There's no nothing. It's gone. And then you wake up and it's gone. It's not there. But you remember scraping your knee, but it's not there. That's because you pulled from an infinite pool of realities, and you pulled from not being logical to the fact of, oh, it has to heal overnight. It has to take time to heal. No, that's logic. When you're illogical, when you don't put a limitation on yourself, because to me, that's what illogical is. Illogical means no limitations. Logical means limitations. Don't limit yourself by trying to be logical. Because now you're putting yourself in a box. You're putting yourself in a cage. Think outside the box. And if you can't think outside the box, just be open to it. Don't limit yourself. You're the only one doing it to yourself. So, yes, things can change overnight. Yes, you can do miraculous things. And we label them as miraculous and miracles and outstanding. And oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? What if it's just really normal? What if that's just a regular thing, but we are just so conditioned to be deceived by that? We are so conditioned to, we just have this veil over our eyes. You know what I mean? And we just see this reality that we live in. Everything has to make sense and everything has to fall in order. But whose order are we following? Whose order are we following? Because you're the one that makes your own rules. You're the one that decides on everything for yourself. So when you decide that you want to manifest something, right? When you realize you're finna manifest this thing, and then you start trying to be logical about it, and you start trying to figure out all the ways how this is going to be possible for you, how could this even happen, and you bring logic into it, you're blocking yourself, okay? You are holding your own self up, in my opinion. And I can guarantee you that there are things that you have experienced in your day-to-day life that are illogical, but you label them as something else. Oh my gosh, what a coincidence. Oh, isn't that so crazy? Oh, how could that happen? It's you creating, because that's how powerful you are. You have just been numbed your entire life to overlooking it and trying to make sense of things. If I give you anything out of this video, it is this. Stop trying to make sense of your desires. Stop trying to make sense of your manifestations. Stop trying to make everything make sense and be a realistic person. If you are somebody who is a realist and you have to be realistic about things, in my opinion, you're just realistically limiting yourself. You are just limiting your desires, because not everything has to make sense. Yes, you've been taught that way, but there's a whole nother way that you can be open to. When you allow yourself to be more optimistic about life, when you allow yourself to just be free and open to the possibilities that exist for you, you open up so many doors. But when you sit down and put yourself inside of a box and try to figure out the X and the Y's and the Z's of how this could be possible for you and how this could even happen when it doesn't make sense, you're blocking your own blessings. You are limiting your own self. Nobody is placing these limitations on you. Society has placed limitations on you. Your environment has placed limitations on you. Your family has probably placed limitations on you and told you what's not possible and what's not real and what can't be done. And it's up to you to decide if you're going to accept that or not. Are you going to accept the fact that this isn't possible for me? Oh, I've never seen anybody do this before. You can be the first. You can be the first person. You don't need a success story. You don't need an example to prove to you that something is possible. If you can understand the simple fact that infinite realities exist. Okay, so that means if you if you take some bubbles and blow some bubbles and you see all them little bubbles floating around, all of those are different realities. Okay, all of them are different realities. They're all possibilities and they all exist simultaneously at the same time right now. And your only job is to see in your mind the reality that you choose to experience. All right, so whichever bubble floating around in the atmosphere, you see it with your mind. What reality do you desire to experience? Do you desire to experience one with more money, more love, a better career, a loving family, a revised past, a non-problematic childhood? What is it that you see? What is it that you want to experience? Pick that bubble, all right? And then you're only to think from that bubble. It doesn't matter what your reality looks like. It doesn't matter what circumstances look like. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Because if you stop being so realistic and you stop being so logical about things, you can experience what you would probably perceive or label as magic. And yeah, things feel magical. They seem magical, but at the end of the day, it's still you creating it. So stop identifying with limitations. Stop identifying with things that are holding you back. If you desire something deep down in your heart, if there is something that you really want to experience, then it is your duty to go after it. And the only thing you have to do to go after it is to think as that version of yourself who has it. Decide that you have it. Consistently decide that you have that thing. Consistently show up every day as the version of yourself who has it. And I don't mean physically. I don't mean you have to physically go through the motions, because no, you don't have to lift a finger to manifest a single thing. If you feel like you have to take inspired action, then sure. But if you are telling yourself, well, maybe I should go do this because that'll make my manifestation happen faster. No, that's not what you need to do, because that's you reasoning again and trying to be logical again about your desires. Stop trying to be logical. Stop. Train yourself to not be a logical person. That's only my opinion though, okay? Whoever you are listening to this video and you have been a super pessimistic, logical person, I want you to practice on not overthinking. I want you to practice on not trying to talk yourself out of your manifestation, talk yourself out of why something isn't possible, all right? Your logical mind is pulling from limitations. Your logical mind is pulling from maybe your previous experiences, and those previous experiences should not be used to determine what is and isn't possible for you. It just shouldn't be. And that is my opinion, but I do believe in that. Anything that you desire can happen for you in so many unexpected ways. Things can just appear for you out of thin air. You wake up to a whole new reality, and those things absolutely do happen every day. Like, life is just not a linear like you were taught for it to be. And I feel like as long as you just stop questioning, stop doubting, stop worrying, stop trying to make sense of things, and just persist. Just decide on what you want and continue to decide on it. Continue to, in your mind, show up as that version. Continue to tell yourself that it is your truth. Then that is what it's going to be. Your subconscious only needs repetition. It only understands repetition. So that's all that you have to do. You don't have to invoke any feelings. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to try to make sense of things. It's so simple that it's complicated. Like, it's so simple. Just tell yourself, decide that you have it, decide that it's yours, decide that it's going to be yours, and continue to do that every day. And if you have issues with that, if you feel like that is not a strong point of yours, to be consistent and you need accountability, you need some type of discipline. I did create a 30-day consistency workshop, and the link is in the description below if you want to check it out. But it's really just designed for you to show up as the version of yourself who does get your desire. Because I myself lacked consistency and I realized that. So I created this workshop to assist people who also experience the same thing, where you realize you desire something, but you just don't have the momentum to keep it up. You don't have the momentum to keep deciding on what you want. You don't have the momentum to keep showing up mentally as the version of yourself who has what you want, because essentially that's all you have to do. Your thoughts are creating. That's what happens. Your thoughts are creating. Manifestation is you thinking about what you want and deciding that it is yours. And your decisions, you deciding, is you thinking about it. Like, that's all that it is. So if you need assistance with that, you need a helping hand, you need accountability, check the description below, because I do have a link to the consistency workshop. Other than that, if you have any questions or comments for me, please leave them down below. If you would like guidance or assistance with your manifestations, I do offer phone and email coaching, and I also have group coaching through YouTube and my Patreon membership. Other than that, if you watch this video until the end, I appreciate you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.